Hi, Taurus, and welcome to your March 2024 horoscope. We had a lot of Pluto energy in the first 2 months of the year, and good news, we have a lot less Pluto energy in March. So we get a bit of a fresh breath of air. However, March also symbolizes the beginning of eclipse season. Yes, I'm sorry. We can never get a break, can we? So we're going to also talk about eclipse season and the beginning of that in the upcoming horoscope. So let's get into it. On March 3rd, Venus in your 10th house is squaring Uranus in your first house. You might have been directing a lot of your energy towards your career lately, and especially trying to bring this element of beauty and harmony and peacefulness into your career and the way that others perceive you. But at the beginning of the month, you might find that this is making it quite difficult for you to truly be yourself. You might find that if you want to be true to yourself, that this might mean disrupting the peace or disrupting the beautiful image that others have of you. Perhaps disrupting things at your workplace as well. On March 5th, Mars, who is also in your 10th house, is sextiling and trining the nodes in your 12th and 6th house. If there ever was a time to stand up for yourself and be courageous in regards to your career, the time is now because Mars is in your 10th house. So it's really going to help you to get in touch with this courage and this passion. And this is especially a good day to do so because whatever action you are taking around your career, whatever courageous and scary thing you're doing, is actually for your good. It's actually perfect for your soul's evolution. And you might find that whatever action you take, it's helping you really get in touch with your true self and really get in touch with stepping away from the material world and instead focusing on what truly matters and focusing on making sure that you yourself internally are satisfied and aligned with how you want to live your life. On March 9th, Mars in your 10th house is squaring Uranus in your first house. So Mars has been traveling through your 10th house, and now it's in the same position that Venus was in at the beginning of the month. Because Mars and Uranus are both quite explosive planets, this might be more of an explosive day. Perhaps the unexpected happens and we react in a way that perhaps we're not very proud of, or in a way that's quite reactive and not very well thought through. And we talked a little bit earlier in the forecast about you doing courageous things in regards to your career. But it could be on this day that you're overdoing it a bit, that you are, as a result, trying to really control everything in your career. You love this feeling of courageousness and doing fearful things, but now you may be taking it to a point where you think everything is a battle, and you think that everything that happens is something that you take personally against you, even though it might not have anything to do with you. And that could be quite hard on you and on the way you view yourself. It could start to show up as ups and downs in your personality and in how you are in your day-to-day. And that also might not be very fun to experience or very enjoyable. On March 10th, there is a new moon in Pisces in your 11th house. So there's a lot of energy in your 11th house. There was already in February, but now also especially in March. So there might be a lot of attention and focus going into your community and your friends. And this new moon represents a new beginning in that area. And because we have Saturn also involved in this new moon, it could represent that this is a very serious new beginning. I really see this as somebody that says, all right, I'm going to attend one networking event every week. And they go ahead and sign up and they book it in their calendar. So they really add this sort of structure to anything to do with community or with their groups of friends. One thing to keep in mind, because Pisces is the sun in your 11th house, and this is a new moon in Pisces, that following your intuition on this day could serve you really well. You know, if you're looking at certain new communities that you want to join, or you're wondering about which friend you should reach out to hang out this weekend, try to get in touch with your intuition and follow the sort of impulse that it's giving you. Just a day later, on March 11th, Venus also enters Pisces, or your 11th house. And this could mean that all of the activities that you're doing with your community and with your friends, you're doing them with extra love and beauty and harmony. You know, perhaps you're going to see that friend this weekend, but you make sure to bring flowers with you. Or perhaps you are going to a volunteering event or a networking event, and you make sure that you dress in the most beautiful way that makes you feel good and comfortable. On March 20th, the sun enters Aries, or your 12th house. So from the 20th onwards, for about a month, you are going to have a bit more of an introspective time, or a time when you are able to reflect a little bit more on who you are and where you're going, and just your internal world, your internal feelings and thoughts. So you still have quite a lot of energy in your 11th house. So for you, Taurus, I don't see this as you're completely withdrawing from the rest of the world, but rather that the interactions you're having with your community and with your friends are sort of encouraging you to really take time to also reflect, or maybe stirring up some things internally that require you to also make sure that you spend a little bit of time alone, a little bit of time reflecting on why you feel the way you feel and who you are at the core of things. On March 21st, Venus finally catches up with Saturn in your 11th house, and they become conjunct. So Venus and Saturn are planets that are quite different from each other. Venus is the planet of beauty and harmony, and Saturn is the planet of harsh reality and work. So when they join each other, they both have an impact on each other. So how could this show up for you? You know, we chatted earlier that perhaps when you're going to meet a friend, you're bringing a bouquet of flowers to them. And on this day, it could feel that Saturn really asks you, but is that really a meaningful way to bring harmony and peace to this friend? And perhaps you realize on this day, with the influence that Saturn is having on Venus, that actually the most beauty and harmony you can bring to your friendship is by giving them a hug, or by speaking really kind words to them and encouraging them. But Venus can also have an effect on Saturn, so let's not forget about that. You know, we talked about that Saturn in your 11th house is perhaps saying, yes, every Friday from 6 to 10, we are networking. We are volunteering. We're joining a new community of people and trying to get to know others. And now with Venus in the mix, perhaps it's asking you to soften that a little bit. Perhaps it's saying, wait a second, you know, when you are on the metro, going somewhere, and you see that cool person standing across from you and you love their style, can we not reach out to them, give them a compliment? Can we not see this also as an opportunity to find your own people, to get to connect with others that can really become part of your community? So it's sort of going to soften a little bit of these boundaries that you have set around your friendships and your community. On the 23rd of March, Mars also enters your 12th house. I got a bit confused there between March and Mars. So Mars has joined the Pisces party in your 11th house. It could be that this realization that you just had with the conversation between Venus and Saturn has like re-energized you in your search for your community. And you feel this sort of drive and passion and energy to really go after it, to really go and meet new people and to spend more time with your friends. On March 24th, Venus in your 11th house is sextiling Jupiter in your first house. This is a beautiful day because we have a beautiful aspect between two beautiful planets. I really see this as an interesting and wonderful conversation, a really interesting result of all of the work that you've been doing the last month to find your group of people. Because you have been doing all of that work, you are able to step so much more authentically into who you are. Because you're connecting with people that are really your people, you are able to speak the way you want to speak, pursue the hobbies you want to pursue. You're able to finally dress the way you want to dress and feel super cool and authentic with it. On March 25th, we have a full moon in Libra in your 6th house. The South Node and North Node are quite close by. They're about 10 degrees away from the Sun and the Moon. So that means that this is a partial lunar eclipse. This is the beginning of eclipse season. So whatever is happening on this day might continue to be the theme for you for the upcoming eclipses. And for you, especially Taurus, you love to be surrounded by beauty, and you love to incorporate beauty and luxury and peaceful activities into your day-to-day routine. You know, if anybody's gonna like eat with beautiful china cups and like a gold spoon, it's you, Taurus. But this partial lunar eclipse is really challenging that for you and asking you to step a little bit more into your internal landscape, moving a little bit away from these material routines and beauty that you have set up for yourself and going into the internal world and acknowledging all of the things besides beauty that you're feeling. You know, as a Taurus, we can often think like, yes, I am peaceful and I am calm, but that's not always true. You also have feelings within yourself that feel quite challenging, you know, feelings that you think like, no, that shouldn't go that way, or anger or being upset. So this eclipse might really ask you to not ignore those and to acknowledge that these feelings exist. We close off the month on March 28th with Venus in your 11th house sextiling Uranus in your first house. Because this is also a much easier aspect, it could feel like all of the wonderful group of friends that you've established are again encouraging you to really be yourself and show up in an authentic way. But because it's involving Uranus, I also have a feeling that there might be a tendency to try to please the group of friends, try to keep a level of peace and harmony and good feelings and good vibes. But as a result, that might be resulting in you sort of really going up and down with how you show up and who you are. And, you know, like, it's really this idea of you're around a group that is feeling really good and celebrating something. And as a result, you also sort of meet them at that level and you become really happy and loud and laughing. But then you are with a group that's a bit more serious and perhaps feeling a little bit more low. And as a result, you also go and meet them there. So you could be finishing off the month feeling sort of a little bit of up and down in terms of your personality and how you show up in the world. So overall, Taurus, this is an amazing time to focus on your friends and to focus on finding your own group of people, focus on networking if that's something that's important to you right now. But Towards the end of the month, the sun does enter the 12th house, and we do have the eclipse in your 12th house as well. So even though there's this need and this energy to want to hang out with people, I also do want to encourage you to make sure you take some alone time to really reflect on everything that's happening, everything you're learning and experiencing with your friends, and seeing how that reflects into who you are and whether you're still being authentic to yourself. Thank you so much for joining me for this horoscope, Taurus. I hope you enjoy all of the friendly activities in March. And if you want to make sure you catch the April horoscope, it's going to be eclipse season, so you don't want to miss it. If you want to make sure you catch it, then make sure you subscribe. I hope to see you again soon.